Hey everybody, it's Ron from Faces of the Forgotten. I am in Sycamore, Illinois today. That is about 30 miles north of Salmonock, where Melissa Ackerman lived in the Brian Dugan video. And today I am doing some investigation into the cold case, officially, of Maria Ridulph. This goes back to 1957, and it was at this location here on Archie Place Street, which is where I'm standing right now in front of her house. This is where Maria lived, and back in that day, there was a cold December night. I think it was December 2nd, and it was in the evening, and I think it was the first snow flurries. So she got her friend Kathy Sigmund, who lived down the street, and they came out here to play in the snow. And the game that they were playing was called Duck the Cars, and it was it's a game I used to play. It's a game my son, his friends still play, kind of, I think, is where you're out at night and you see the headlights of a car and you're in the street or by the street, and you've got to go and hide before the car gets you and sees you. And it was at this corner right here, at the corner of Center Cross Street and Archie Place, where I'm standing right now is where they were playing. I'm going to cross the street here so you can get a better look at it. And there was a car coming that was milling around here while they were playing right at this corner here, and came back, and there was a guy named Johnny, and it was said he was in his 20s, and he started talking to them, and this is where the trouble first started. He asked them if they wanted to get piggyback rides. And of course, little Maria and her friend, they both were excited about that. Maria got a piggyback ride, and then he switched the story to dolls. So Maria went back to her house to get her doll. She wanted to show Johnny. Johnny wanted to see her doll. So Maria walks back to her house, and Kathy's hands are cold, so she goes back and she gets her mittens, and she came right back. And when she came back, Maria was gone. She ran over to the Ridulphs, and she finally got Maria's brother out, and they started searching. And the next thing you know, the entire town was out with pitchforks and axes. I mean, 1957, they had shotguns. They literally had guns, and they were going house to house, knocking on the door, and no search warrant. Everyone's just like, we need to search your house. I mean, back in those days. Back over here, there was a garage back here, and it was there that they found Maria's doll. I'll put a picture in of that. And that was really all they found of Maria. Last seen here at Archie Place and Center Cross Street. I am in Woodbine, Illinois, which is about 100 miles away from Sycamore. I'm at the location where Maria Ridulph's body was taken and left. I got permission from the people here, Bob Brundy and Bill Hayes. So we're going to take a look here. Basically, I'm just at the crest of the hill of the highway, Route 20. Presumably the kidnapper came here, well, not presumably, he came here parked up at the top of this hill, probably at 10 or so at night, and walked down this particular field. This is the exact spot. And this is a grass field that goes down slightly about 100 yards to this heavily wooded area. And right in here somewhere is the exact spot of where he dumped her body. And I'm going to go in here a little bit. Looks like we have an opening here. I'm sure that tree, that fallen tree, is not here anymore. We're talking 1957. But it doesn't look like this area has been timbered. It said it was between two ravines, so I can see here on my right there is a big ravine right down there, and I can see over there, now I'm facing to the west, I can see another ravine. So that had to be right in here. And this is about where I'm probably within 10 yards of where Maria was left. In fact, it could have been, that could be the remnants of the actual tree there. It was a very large tree. No way to know. But sadly, this is the location where Maria was left and possibly killed. This is Elmwood Cemetery in Sycamore, and we are going to pay our respects to Maria Ridulph. We're in. This is a beautiful old cemetery here in Sycamore. and a lovely day. I was fortunate enough to run into a elderly woman there as I was leaving the abduction scene we just videoed, and her name is Wadine Bird. I think she's 92, and she was here at the time. And she was good enough to give me a lot of interesting information firsthand. Of course, she knew all the people in the story intimately. And she told me, one of the things she told me that I thought was intriguing, she told me that, again, it was snowing lightly, there was a light coating of snow on the ground, and the girls, Johnny, the abductor, assumably with Maria on his back on the piggyback ride, they followed the footprints, his footprints in the snow, and it went back towards an alley that was right where I shot that video of where that garage was shed, actually where the doll was found. So you have to imagine that he's running away with her on his back, locked in his arms, and that's where she dropped the doll, and he went in between the buildings. You know, it was dark out, and that's how he made his escape. His car was parked right nearby. After that happened, Maria's friend Kathy, she came back. Of course, she had gotten her mittens. So when everything turned loose, she was able to give a pretty good description of the guy. She said he was in his 20s. He had blonde hair. He had a slim chin. It's a pretty good description for a little girl to give. He had a gap in his teeth, and he had a high voice. Young guy in his 20s with a high voice. That's pretty descriptive. Well, a lot of time went by, a number of months, and of course they finally found Maria. Actually, there were a couple of people from Minnesota, and they were mushroom hunting along the road there, and you know, what are the odds? They go in there, and beneath that huge fallen tree is Maria's body. Very, very decomposed. Very, not much of anything to get forensics from. So, again, what do? You have no forensics. You get back to the witness, and they pretty much identified this guy. His name was John Tessier. He lived right down the street. Fit the description to a T. Only problem was that his parents gave him a complete alibi. As it turns out, they were lying. So the case went cold for decades. For decades. And what really broke this case back open was his mother, on her deathbed, told her daughter, his sister, that she lied about the alibi, just confirming it. I think they all knew that he was gone that night, and the whole family. And lied about the alibi, and she said Johnny did it. He's the one that did it. So she went to the police, and now everything starts opening up. They get this lineup of 8 guys, I think it was, pictures. She, going back to Maria's friend Kathy, picked them right out immediately. And they just didn't have enough evidence, hard evidence, to tie him to the, to do a murder trial. What they did, though, it sat cold for a while longer, is World War II, William Hollister, U.S. Army, World War II. Born in July 7th of 1910. So with no hard evidence, they couldn't really do much. So under the intent to get him out of town, everybody wanted to be rid of this guy. They didn't want him around. They charged him with his sister's rape. As turned out, this guy was a pedophile and incestually had raped his sister. She didn't want it to go to trial. They went ahead anyway. And that didn't really, it was just frustration. They just really couldn't put anything together. And after that trial failed with an acquittal, they just said, you know what, we're going to go ahead with the case anyway. Now these are some old trees. I'd be willing to bet these are at least 3 to 4, maybe even 500 years old. That trunk has a diameter of a good 6-7 feet. And that would be an old oak. So they charged him and indicted him for Maria's murder. They just said, heck, we're just going to go ahead, and probably out of frustration. And they went ahead, and he was convicted, to the shock of everybody. He was convicted. But of course, after multiple appeals, they were overturned. I mean, the jury was just emotional. And he basically got away with murder. It's amazing how these markers have come off their bases just from the years, the slow-growing trees. So there is no real justice for Maria. And by the way, there is a video link I will put on his 2+ hour interrogation. You decide. The guy sounds totally defensive and guilty. This is not an innocent person talking. Maria is, I think, here. That's what I was pointed out. It was pointed out to me. This is Montgomery, Hoffman. Here we go. Ridulph. Michael. This is Michael. I know her brother's name is Chuck. And I'm going to, here, this is set up already for Charles and his wife. He's a reverend. He's still in town here, and I was given a heads up. I'm going to try to track him down. Here we go. Here's Maria's stone, adorned with a cross and flowers. Francis. the mother. So Frances died in 2007, and Michael passed away in 1999. So the parents are gone. All that's left, I think, is Charles. So to Maria Ridulph, we hope you're resting in peace.